So our next video, this one is more about place than about people, but of course people are part of place. So things to think about. The first 3 slides are some marquees. Be right back after these messages. So some pretty interesting photographs of marquees that are, totally tied into what's going on today. Gone fishing. A little humor there. Downtown Los Angeles. This is a Todd Hido. I've talked about him in the past. He photographed homes at night with the lights glowing from inside. And I think that this was an influence to this next set of images we're going to look at. Sheltering in place. So a walk through a neighborhood and pretty much looking straight on at the houses of what's glowing. I love the blue light in the background. The timing helps to make the images. But something you could do in your neighborhood. Take a walk. I'm moving a little quicker. I'm going to try to move a little quicker on the slideshow because I got a lot of slides in here. But you can hit pause at any time to take a closer look at the images. I had a lot of these. I liked them. Okay, so next we have Lori Pond's work, and it is 16 Kinds of White at Dahlia Drive. So these are different shots made from within her home that all were white. So what a simple concept, but what an interesting set of images. Kind of reminds me of our pink and blue from the people slides we were looking at with the kids. I just found this entertaining. This wild idea, if you don't follow, he basically photographs this dog everywhere, and the dog is a great little character. But since we're home, I like this as a shot. It's not about the dog, it's not about the home, it's not about the feet. Well, it is about the dog. But adding the feet into there gives it another dimension, which includes the dog's daddy. And it makes it a lot more interesting than just looking at that dog. So, telling a bigger story is one of the things we're looking for. This is an older photograph of Robert Adams, one of my all-time favorites photographers. This was part of the new topographics, where Robert Adams and a number of other photographers photographed what was happening in the land. And this is the suburban sprawl that was happening in Denver. All the same, if you're being a voyeur, it could make for some interesting photographs. I'm guessing you might have seen people saying, put up your Christmas lights. It will bring joy to people. So this one popped into my head because of that, as being appropriate to show. I like this hedge that just blocks us from this house. So it's kind of what we're living in today, like stay out. But it's not just a hedge, it's a double, it's where they meet. Do you see that shadow? It's really a beautiful moment in a photograph. The empty loneliness, the blue and pink, the checkerboard leading up to the building, the crop, everything is just working. This is a nice image. Of course, it's William Eggleston. If you don't know William Eggleston, give him a look. And this was also not shot today. Keep calm and wash your hands. So, signs are everywhere right now. But showing it not just the sign, we don't care about the sign, but showing it what context it's in, that's what makes this image more interesting. So don't take a picture just of the sign. That's like taking pictures just of murals. Who cares? Right here in town, looking out, I love how the right side is framed with the post and the walk signal, and then there's only one car in the distance, and perfect timing. The lights are on. It's working. Another image of loneliness. What would normally be a bustling area, a single lone person. But the green light to go versus the red light to stop. So we're like stopping our activities outside, or are we advancing forward. So we have the green and the red light in this. So that was pretty timely. For me, the person almost gets lost in this and it just becomes about the place. And I really like that. It's lonely, it's harsh. Not a normal sight. No one on the subway. Just the vacant areas. A lot of people are getting out and going down to the Strip and Fremont Street and photographing. I don't know if you guys are into that. If you are, obviously be safe. But you might get some good photographs. And good being, you have to make a good photograph. You have to compose it well. You've got to think about why you're doing it. But it's also one moment in time. Hopefully we'll never be here again. More of the emptiness. I like the moodiness of this photograph, the darkness, the shadows, but yet there's still points to look at, still pieces of information. Bleak. Testing. So this is one of the first images of where people are starting to get tested. Another sign. Once again, the reflection of the photographer in the window. It's a quirky little photograph. The little Christmas set down at the bottom, we're closed. Crown pneumonia. There's humor, quirk. It keeps me coming back. Personally, for a crop, I'd like to not have the little doggie's feet chopped at the bottom of the frame. Just like it. Social distancing intact, space, so it's more about the place than the people. This is about both place and people. I'm not sure if this was shot today or previously, but it seemed appropriate, as does this image. Instead of out practicing, it's empty. David J. Carroll is one of my favorites to follow as well. He has a publishing company for books called Peanut Press. They've done some nice books. Place or people? Timely. Notice the picture, from far to mid to up close. Something to think about while you're making images. Another location. Emptiness. Once again, the signs are telling us what to do, but it's part of the greater scene, and then there's no people. This is an earlier photograph, but I loved how the sign was covered up and it's starting to fall off. I think it's very nice. Lockdown. The tree with the caution tape around it. So it was hashtag social distancing landscape. I found that humorous. And then I came across this one where the tree is being protected, so it's isolated from things that could harm it. Bigger picture, bigger stories. Loneliness, Fantastic lighting, very empty. Love the person walking through the crosswalk, and then you still have the sign illuminated to the side showing the crosswalk. Walk in the crosswalk. The emptiness. More emptiness. More. The playground being taped off so no one can play. This is a great photograph. I love this photo because it's so puzzling to look at. You think that it's just the sliver at the bottom, but the top is the sky. It's puzzling and interesting. I love it. I think I've got a series of windows coming up. Well, we're not going to be flying. Oh, another William Eggleston, one of my favorites. But playing with windows. Obviously, I think I just said this, we're not flying, but we've got windows in our home. So here's looking out, looking back in. The light that's being created from that little window. The lamp illuminating the ceiling a bit. I could stay here and look at this for a bit. I don't think this is compositionally the strongest image I've ever seen, but for some reason I'm just enjoying it. This feels more staged, and I love it. The person looking out at us with all this life and greenery. Stay home, spend time with your cat. Well, if you're going to photograph your cat, please do it like this. Unless you're doing Tony Mendoza's Ernie series. Oh, that was fabulous. We should look at a few of those another day. Love the color here. The design, the balance. Above the window handle it says unlock. But are we? More images from home. But home is a place that has mood and emotion, and that comes through in this image with the lighting, the shadow, the curtain. It's so old school there. And the tone of the image, the color tone. Oh, looking in. We're not seeing this right now since all of our restaurants are closed. Serbian military personnel setting up beds inside a hall to accommodate people suffering from mild symptoms of the coronavirus disease. That's sobering. More fantastic light, loneliness. And they're saying 10 days ago, probably very quiet now, very quiet then. Sean Tuck, if you don't know him, take a look. He does great videos. More along the lines of street photography. Showing us where this is on this board where they throw up flyers. You can see all the staples. Alone on the streets, wearing the mask, overlooking the city, just the two. Pier 39 fully closed up, locked away. I love the framing of this. I love that overhang and how they use the shadow to focus us in on the museum ahead. Just a nice photograph. These are a few of Clay Hexmer's photographs shot here in Vegas on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. So everything all boarded up. nice and moody black and whites. I know all these were shot with his iPhone. One person there on the bridge. This is Aaron Mays. He did a whole series also during the daytime, so different than Clay's at night. I only grabbed this one, but you might want to look him up and check out his images. Now this is another artist. The work was made in 75 and 76. The artist stayed home and photographed his television screen, documenting whatever was broadcast, from the Grand Prix races to the news to space flights and even more. So he could make 35 separate exposures on a square of film. And there was a book published. But I just thought this was an interesting concept. And I've done a lot of photographing of my television over the years. And Lee Friedlander, one of my favorites, photographed televisions in hotel rooms that he would stay at for many years. The TVs were on. But very fascinating. I just love the grid. Grid. And I think this is my last photograph. Social distancing with no people there. And that was it. So hopefully, once again, it's stirring things in your head. You're making images. Please, you guys, you have to continue working. That's what we do as artists. And a lot of times we work in isolation, so without a lot of interaction with others and feedback. So keep making.